The text message glared at me from my phone screen. Sis, I'm engaged to Jerome. My coffee cup slipped from my fingers, shattering against the kitchen floor. Dark liquid splashed across my bare feet, but I barely felt the heat. I'm Amelia, and my sister just announced her engagement to my ex-boyfriend. Not just any ex, the one who helped me develop the smart contact lens technology that could revolutionize the way people interact with digital information. The same man who conveniently forgot to include my name on the initial patent application. Tell me this is a joke, I typed back with trembling fingers. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then appeared again. Not a joke. He proposed last night at Le Cirque. 6-carat diamond. Call me. I threw my phone across the room, watching it bounce off the couch. The doorbell rang, making me jump. Through the peephole, I saw Yasmin, my best friend, holding up a bottle of wine. You look like hell, she said when I opened the door. I came as soon as I saw Kira's Instagram post. Instagram? She posted it already? Yasmin pulled out her phone, showing me a perfectly staged photo of Kira's manicured hand sporting an enormous diamond ring, Jerome's familiar smile in the background. The caption read, "Dreams do come true. Engaged? You're blessed. That manipulative bastard," I muttered, grabbing the wine bottle and heading to the kitchen. He's only doing this because he knows the patent office is about to. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Ms. Bennett? This is Marcus from the patent office. We've reviewed your submission of prior art and documentation regarding the smart contact lens technology. I gripped the counter, my knuckles turning white. Yasmin watched me intently. And? My voice cracked. The evidence is conclusive. We'll be adding your name to the patent as co-inventor. Mr. Butler has been notified. I ended the call and looked at Yasmin, who was already pouring 2 generous glasses of wine. Well? She asked. I'm officially listed as co-inventor. I laughed, but it came out more like a sob. Jerome must be losing his mind right now. And Kira? She has no idea what she's walking into. I picked up my wine glass, studying the deep red liquid. She thinks she's marrying into wealth and status, but Jerome's house of cards is about to collapse. Are you going to tell her? I took a long sip, remembering all the times Kira had dismissed my work as playing with computers, how she'd laughed when Jerome and I broke up, saying I'd never find another man like him. No, I said finally. Sometimes the best revenge is letting karma do its job. My phone buzzed again, Kira calling. I pressed ignore and raised my glass to Yasmin. To karma, I said, and to finally getting what's mine. 2 years ago, Jerome and I sat in his home office, surrounded by prototype sketches and empty coffee cups. The smart contact lens was my brainchild, born from countless sleepless nights and caffeine-fueled coding sessions. This could change everything, Jerome said, his eyes gleaming as he reviewed my latest test results. Imagine accessing your entire digital world with just a blink. We need to file the patent soon, I replied, organizing our documentation. The tech giants will be all over this once word gets out. He wrapped his arms around me from behind, kissing my neck. Let me handle the paperwork, baby. You focus on perfecting the neural interface. I should have known better, should have seen the signs. A knock at my office door jolts me back to the present. Bo, my colleague at the startup where I now work, pokes his head in. Amelia, you've got to see this. He rushes to my desk, tablet in hand. Someone leaked Jerome Butler's quarterly reports, his company's bleeding money. I scan the financial statements on the screen. The numbers tell a story of desperate loans and hidden debts. Where did you get this? Anonymous tip to TechCrunch. Word is, he's been borrowing heavily to maintain appearances. Bo lowers his voice. Isn't your sister engaged to him? Before I can answer, my phone buzzes. Yasmin, turn on Channel 7 now, she says when I pick up. I pull up the local news on my computer. Jerome stands at a podium announcing his company's groundbreaking smart contact lens technology. My technology. Bastard, I mutter. That's not all, Yasmin says. Look who's standing next to him. The camera pans to show Kira, beaming up at Jerome like he's some kind of tech messiah. She's wearing a designer dress that probably cost more than my monthly salary. She's playing the devoted fiancé role perfectly, I say, my voice bitter. Just like he played the devoted boyfriend. My office phone rings. It's Edgar Dean, Jerome's biggest competitor. Amelia. His smooth voice fills the line. I believe we have some mutual interests to discuss. Dinner tonight? I glance at the news feed, where Jerome continues his presentation. Where and when? Le Bernardin, 8 o'clock. Come alone. After hanging up, I text Yasmin. Edgar Dean just invited me to dinner. She replies instantly. The plot thickens. Wear that black dress that makes you look like a CEO. I smile, remembering Jerome's words from 2 years ago. Let me handle everything. Well, now I'm handling things my way, and this time I've got nothing left to lose. Le Bernardin's soft lighting couldn't hide the sharp gleam in Edgar's eyes as he studied me across the table. He was older than Jerome, with silver threading through his dark hair, but his presence commanded attention without trying. Your sister's engagement party is quite the talk of the town, he said, swirling his wine. I received an invitation this morning. Congratulations, I replied dryly. I'm sure it'll be the social event of the season. You know what's interesting? Edgar leaned forward. Jerome's been trying to sell me the smart contact lens technology, says he needs capital fast. I nearly choked on my wine. He what? Offered it at half its market value. Edgar's smile was predatory. Desperate men make desperate moves. Before I could respond, my phone lit up with a text from Yasmin. Turn around, your sister just walked in with her new bestie. I twisted in my chair. There was Kira, draped in designer clothes, giggling with Eliza, her new shopping companion. They were being led to a table across the restaurant. Speaking of desperate moves, I muttered. Your sister hasn't noticed the cracks yet, has she? Edgar asked, following my gaze. The bounced checks, the maxed out credit cards. How do you know about those? I make it my business to know. He pulled out a folder and slid it across the table. Just like I know you're the real brain behind the smart lens. Inside were copies of my original designs, dated emails between Jerome and me, and proof of my early prototype work. Where did you get these? Let's just say Jerome's assistant is very cooperative when properly motivated. Edgar's voice dropped lower. I have a proposition for you, Amelia, one that could benefit us both. Kira's laugh echoed across the restaurant, drawing my attention again. She was showing Eliza her engagement ring, the massive diamond catching the light. I'm listening, I said. Partner with me. We'll launch the smart lens technology under my company, with you as the face of the project. Jerome won't know what hit him until it's too late. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Kira. OMG sis, are you on a date with Edgar Dean? Jerome says he's bad news. I looked up to find Kira waving frantically from her table, her face a mix of excitement and concern. The irony was almost too much. Well, Edgar prompted. What do you say? I turned back to him, decision made. When do we start? His smile widened. How about right now? He raised his glass. To new partnerships. As we clinked glasses, I caught Kira watching us, her expression uncertain. She had no idea she was watching her perfect world begin to unravel. The engagement party was exactly as ostentatious as I expected. Jerome's penthouse sparkled with champagne fountains and ice sculptures, while Manhattan's elite mingled under crystal chandeliers. You came, Kira squealed, rushing toward me in a dress that probably cost more than my car. I wasn't sure you would. Wouldn't miss it, I said, accepting her awkward hug. Nice party. Jerome spared no expense. She beamed, then lowered her voice. Speaking of expenses, what's going on with you and Edgar? Jerome says he's trying to steal the contact lens project. Before I could respond, Jerome appeared behind her, his smile not quite reaching his eyes. Amelia, could we talk privately? He led me to his home office, the same room where we'd spent countless hours developing my technology, the room where he'd betrayed me. Whatever Edgar offered you, I'll double it, he said, closing the door. I laughed. With what money, Jerome? The banks aren't lending anymore, are they? His facade cracked. How did you know about the bounced checks, the desperate attempts to sell my technology? I stepped closer. Did you tell Kira that her perfect life is built on sand? You vindictive bit. The door opened and Yasmin walked in, phone in hand. Sorry to interrupt, but Amelia, you need to see this. She showed us her screen. Breaking news about Jerome's company stock plummeting after leaked reports of failed product tests. Jerome's face went pale. Those tests were confidential. Oops, I said, watching his hands shake. Looks like someone talked. You did this, he hissed. You're trying to ruin me. No, Jerome, you did this to yourself when you stole my work. I headed for the door, then turned back. Oh, and those tests? They failed because you don't have the neural interface codes. Never did. I kept those to myself. Back in the party, Kira was showing off her ring to a group of socialites. The wedding will be at the plaza, she was saying. Jerome's booking the entire hotel. Yasmin squeezed my arm. Should we tell her? Not yet. I watched my sister bask in her imaginary fairy tale. Sometimes lessons have to be learned the hard way. My phone buzzed with a text from Edgar. Patent office announcement tomorrow. Ready? I typed back. Ready. What did Jerome want? Kira appeared beside me, champagne in hand. I smiled, thinking of the storm about to break. Just catching up on old times, sis. Just catching up. The crystal chandelier above us threw fractured light across her face, making her look younger, more vulnerable. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. The news broke like a tsunami. Revolutionary smart contact lens patent, awarded to Amelia Bennett and Edgar Dean Industries, blazed across every tech website. My phone exploded with notifications as Jerome's carefully constructed world began to crumble. What the hell is this? Kira burst into my apartment unannounced, waving her phone. Jerome's having a meltdown. He says you betrayed him. Betrayed him? I stood my ground. Show me the original designs in his handwriting. Show me one piece of code he wrote. But he said... He said what, Kira? That he invented it? That I'm just a bitter ex trying to steal his success? I pulled out my laptop. Watch this. I played the video of my original prototype presentation from 2 years ago. There I was, demonstrating the neural interface while Jerome stood in the background, taking credit for my work. That's not, he wouldn't. Kira sank onto my couch. Your perfect fiancé is a fraud, I said, and his empire is built on stolen dreams. Her phone rang, Jerome's face flashing on the screen. She declined the call. The plaza booking, she whispered. The deposit check bounced yesterday. He said it was a bank error. There's more. I handed her the folder Edgar had given me. He's been trying to sell my technology to cover his debts. The mansion, the cars, the lifestyle you love so much, it's all smoke and mirrors. Tears smeared her expensive mascara. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Would you have believed me? Over him? The doorbell rang. Yasmin walked in with a bottle of wine and 3 glasses. Thought we might need this. How long have you known? Kira asked her. Honey, everyone in tech circles knew Jerome was a fraud. We just couldn't prove it until now. Kira's phone buzzed again. Eliza this time. She answered on speaker. Oh my God, Kira, have you seen the news? Jerome's company stock is down 60%. Everyone's talking about it at the club. Kira ended the call, her hands shaking. What am I going to do? That depends, I said, accepting a glass of wine from Yasmin. Are you ready to see Jerome for who he really is? I thought. She twisted her massive engagement ring. I thought I was getting everything I ever wanted. You wanted a fairy tale, I said softly. He sold you an illusion. My phone lit up with a message from Edgar. Press conference tomorrow. Time to show the world what real innovation looks like. Kira looked up, her makeup streaked but her eyes clearer than I'd seen them in months. I want to be there, she said. I want to see it all. I nodded, raising my glass. Welcome to reality, sis. The press conference room buzzed with anticipation. Tech journalists filled every seat, their cameras trained on the empty podium. Edgar stood beside me backstage, reviewing our presentation one last time. Nervous? He asked. No. I adjusted my blazer, just ready to reclaim what's mine. Incoming drama at 3 o'clock, Yasmin whispered, nodding toward the entrance. Jerome stormed in, his usual polished appearance noticeably disheveled. 2 security guards moved to intercept him. You can't do this, he shouted across the room. That technology belongs to me. Let him stay, I told the guards. He should see this. The lights dimmed and Edgar took the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Today, we're not just launching a product. We're revolutionizing human-digital interaction. I stepped up to the podium, my heart pounding but my voice steady. 3 years ago, I began developing a neural interface that would allow users to control digital devices through natural eye movements. The prototype video played behind me, the same one I'd shown Kira. Murmurs rippled through the audience as they recognized the date stamp. As you can see, I continued, the original technology was developed in my lab, under my direction. That's a lie, Jerome stood up. I developed the neural interface code, I interrupted, pulling up a screen of complex algorithms. This code? Please, Jerome, explain to everyone how it works. The room fell silent. Jerome's face reddened as he stared at the screen, clearly lost. No, I smiled. That's because you never wrote a single line of it. Cameras flashed as Jerome slumped back into his seat. From the corner of my eye, I saw Kira slip into the back of the room. Today, Edgar announced, we're proud to demonstrate the first fully functional smart contact lens system. I placed the lens in my eye and began the demonstration. With subtle eye movements, I controlled the presentation, brought up 3D holograms, and sent messages, all visible to the audience on the large screen behind me. The room erupted in applause. Journalists shot up their hands, questions flying. Ms. Bennett, what's your response to Jerome Butler's claims? I looked directly at Jerome. The patent office has spoken. The evidence is clear. Sometimes the truth takes time, but it always comes out. What about your personal relationship with Mr. Butler? That's ancient history, I said, catching Kira's eye. I'm focused on the future. As the questions continued, I watched Kira approach Jerome. She slipped off her engagement ring and placed it on his table without a word, then walked out. Edgar squeezed my shoulder. Ready for the next phase? I nodded, watching Jerome stare at the abandoned ring. More than ready. The future I dreamed of wasn't just possible anymore. It was here, and I'd built it myself. The launch party at Edgar's penthouse was everything Jerome's engagement party tried to be, but with actual substance behind the sparkle. Tech industry leaders mingled with investors, all eager to get their hands on the smart lens technology. Your sister's here, Yasmin nudged me, gesturing toward the entrance. Kira stood awkwardly by the door, wearing a simple black dress instead of her usual designer gear. She looked younger, more like the sister I remembered. I wasn't sure I should come, she said as I approached. You're still my sister. Am I? After everything? She grabbed two champagne flutes from a passing waiter. Jerome's been calling nonstop. He says he's gonna lose everything. He already has. I accepted the champagne. The SEC is investigating him for fraud. I saw the news. She took a shaky breath. All those times you tried to tell me about your work, and I was so stupid. Not stupid, just dazzled by fool's gold. Bo rushed over, tablet in hand. Amelia, you need to see this. Jerome's making a scene downstairs. Security footage showed Jerome in the lobby, clearly drunk, demanding to be let up. I'll handle this. Edgar appeared beside me. Security's removing him now. Wait, I said. Let me talk to him first. Downstairs, Jerome swayed on his feet, his designer suit wrinkled, his eyes wild. Come to gloat? He slurred. No, I came to return something. I handed him a USB drive. The original prototype designs. You can keep them as a souvenir. You think you've won? He grabbed my arm. I made you without me. Without you? I yanked free. I created everything while you took the credit. The only thing you made was a house of cards. Please, his voice cracked. I can't lose everything. We could work together again. Goodbye, Jerome. I turned away, then stopped. Oh, and those investors you borrowed from? They're very interested in speaking with you. Back upstairs, Kira was talking with Edgar, her eyes bright with unshed tears. He offered me a job, she said when I returned, in the marketing department. Says I need to learn business from the ground up. And I accepted. She smiled weakly. Time to earn something for myself, right? The party continued around us as New York's lights twinkled through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Yasmin appeared with fresh champagne. To new beginnings, she suggested. To karma, Kira added softly. I raised my glass, watching my sister, really seeing her, for the first time in years. To building something real. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Tech pioneer Jerome Butler files for bankruptcy. I silenced the phone without reading further. Some stories were better left to write themselves. The autumn wind whipped around us as Kira and I stood outside the courthouse. Inside, Jerome had just pleaded guilty to multiple counts of fraud and patent infringement. He looked so small in there, Kira said, hugging herself against the cold. Nothing like the man I thought I was going to marry. Appearances can be deceiving. I handed her my scarf. How's the marketing job? Harder than I expected. She managed a small laugh. Edgar's a tough boss, but I'm learning so much. Actually earning my place, you know? My phone lit up with a message from Edgar. Stock just hit record high. Dinner to celebrate? Speaking of Edgar, Kira raised an eyebrow. You two seem close. We work well together. I tucked my phone away. He respects what I bring to the table, unlike some people we know. She glanced back at the courthouse. God, I was such a fool. Hey, I grabbed her hand. You were looking for something better. You just looked in the wrong place. Miss Bennett, a reporter rushed up, microphone extended. Any comment on Jerome Butler's guilty plea? Before I could respond, Kira stepped forward. My sister's technology is changing lives. That's what matters, not the man who tried to steal it. The reporter blinked, surprised. And you are? Kira Bennett, Junior Marketing Associate at Dean Industries. She stood straighter. And proud sister of the actual inventor. After the reporter left, Yasmin pulled up in her car. Ladies, our reservation at that new bistro won't wait forever. Over dinner, Kira raised her water glass. Remember when we were kids and I used to steal your toys? How could I forget? I laughed. You were relentless. Mom always made you share. She set her glass down. But this time, you fought back. You didn't let anyone steal what was yours. I learned my lesson about sharing, I said, then smiled. At least when it comes to patents. And hearts? Yasmin nodded toward my phone, where another message from Edgar glowed. That's different. I felt my cheeks warm. That's earned, not taken. Speaking of earning, Kira pulled out a small notebook. I have some ideas for marketing the next generation of smart lenses. Real ideas, not just empty hype. As she excitedly outlined her proposals, I watched my sister transform before my eyes. Gone was the woman who chased hollow glamour. In her place sat someone ready to build something genuine. What do you think? She asked, finally pausing for breath. I think, I said, reaching for her hand, we make a pretty good team. Yasmin raised her glass. To the Bennett sisters, stronger apart, unstoppable together. Outside, the city lights twinkled like stars, real and bright and full of promise.